Barca didn't do it today. They played pretty well at times. The team looked great at times, and yet here we are, a 1-1 draw after such an impressive performance yet again. Why? Well, it was a big, really whirl of emotions this entire match, right? We came into it looking really good. I was very excited. I was a little anxious and everything coming in, but the way we got out of the blocks looking phenomenal. We pressed really well. Xavi's tactics were fantastic, or at least they weren't that significantly different, to be fair, than what he's tried to employ the rest of this season. It's pretty similar to what he normally has been trying to do, but it actually worked. They were winning 50-50s. They were getting possession back in dangerous places, and everyone was there because the energy was where it needed to be, right? And Napoli wasn't ready for it. They weren't set up in a good way. Their midfield was non-existent effectively, and they could be played through so fantastically, easily. If you guys were in the stream or in the preview of the stream, you guys heard that I said this was going to be a very wide open game, especially if Barcelona could play through the press. And they could. They played fantastically through it, and Napoli could do very little. They were creating some chances with some poor crosses, but it wasn't real chances. It wasn't significant chances that I was worried about for most of the match. Legitimately, for most of those 45 minutes, I saw nothing. They didn't have a shot on goal in those first 45 minutes at all. Not a single shot on goal throughout the entire match, or the entire first 45 minutes. Now, by the end of that game, they would have 6 total shots and 1 on target, which was a goal. It's rather unfortunate the way it ended, because look, I genuinely wasn't sure Barca was going to score, and it was very exciting to see another. This is the second or third game in a row. It's definitely the second game. It could be the third game in a row where Robert Lewandowski has stepped up to the plate and scored a good goal in a weird way, or not from an easy chance. You know, it looks like he was going to fumble it under his feet again, but he found his footing and figured it out and scored a really good goal, just like he did in the past weekend against Celta Vigo. He is looking better now. He is in better form scoring-wise, but for the entire rest of this game, he was really bad. He just looks terrible on the ball all the time, the entire time. In link-up play, I'm constantly questioning what he is doing. I don't understand it, and I don't know if there is a player I question more in the starting lineup than him. And so he was really poor in build-up and everything, but it can be forgiven when he can score goals like that, right? I'm okay with it. But for the first 45 minutes, it was pretty upsetting to not come out of that with a goal, and I think a lot of that is on Lamine Yamal's shoulders. I think some of it also goes on Lewa's. I don't think he was making the best runs. I don't think he found himself in the best positions, but Lamine Yamal wasn't making the best decisions, nor was he making very good crosses when he got into a good position. He did a fantastic job for the vast majority of this match, getting himself into good positions, but his final ball, his final decision in the final third wasn't great. It just was not on today, and, you know, you got to feel bad for the kid, especially the way Napoli came out in the second half. They made some changes. They were playing with a little bit more width. I don't know the exact tactics. I was too stressed out to really focus on the tactics, but they were definitely playing with more width, and they were playing with more energy too, and their press was it was significantly better. And Barca were definitely struggling. And I mean, I think you could have predicted that Barcelona would have struggled, because I don't think they were going to make any changes. And whenever they don't make changes, they continue to struggle, because Napoli makes changes and Barca rarely ever responds to changes well. Now, they were able to come back in the second half and turn it around and keep that momentum on their side, come back and create some more chances, look good again. But, and hey, they scored a goal, right? To be fair, they scored a goal, and it was a good, solid goal, but it wasn't enough, right? They created a lot of solid chances yet again, and nothing from it. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't good enough. They had, what was it? Let's see. They had 12 shots, 6 on target, and only scored 1 goal. That's okay, but the difference is that they were in really good positions so many more times than that. They were in fantastic positions several times throughout that match. Several times. They should have scored more, but they should have even taken more shots on goal. But because of Lewandowski making a bad decision, or Lamine Yamal hitting a terrible ball, it doesn't happen. And look, Lamine Yamal's 16 years old. I don't hate the kid for doing this. It's okay for him to make mistakes. It is what it is. But I think it's reasonable to be critical of him when he does make these mistakes, because it was kind of killing the attack a lot in the first half. You know, Gundo and Pedri were playing really good. They were making really good runs in behinds, but they couldn't be found. And you know, Napoli was in the right position at sometimes, but Lamine just wasn't playing a great ball. A lot of times it wasn't even clearing the first man. However, one thing that was great today was Cancelo looked really good, at least for the first like 70 minutes. He looked phenomenal. Then he got tired, and much like the entire rest of the squad, they kind of just fell apart. You know, the whole team fell apart. It wasn't just Cancelo. He looked so good in that first half. He was playing well with Pedri. He was linking up like crazy, really well between the two of them, and they were playing through that press like I haven't seen. But I think they only did it once near the end of that match because the energy was gone. Cancelo was gassed, but also so was Christensen, Pedri, Gundo, and I don't know, Inigo Martinez clearly to let that Osimhen goal happen. I don't know if that was a foul. I guess it wasn't. All the replays were terrible that we saw, but Inigo Martinez is either, if he's stepping in front of Osimhen, he has to either make sure he can get in front of him, or he doesn't try and get in front of him and just stays between him and the goal. But he didn't do either one of those things, acted like he got fouled, and conceded that goal. And it just hurts because Napoli, until the final 15 minutes, were not good, or didn't deserve a goal. They don't deserve a draw. They didn't deserve a draw. I think they did after that end of that, but I think Xavi didn't respond well to this to the momentum change. I've made this comment before about Xavi seemingly responding to making subs too late. I don't know if it's too simple or me not, I don't know. Whatever it was, he didn't do it. The momentum clearly changed. Napoli brought on at least 4, if not 5 substitutes, and Xavi brought on none until the 80th minute that Rafinha came in? That's unacceptable. Rafinha didn't come in until the 80th minute. By the time that happened, Napoli had already made 4 substitutes, right? And then the next subs didn't come on. Romeu came on for Christensen, which was necessary. By like the 70th minute, I recognized that needed to happen, okay? But it didn't until the 86th minute. And sure, it's Romeu, and you can't be that happy with him coming in, but I don't know. I don't know, man. It's upsetting. And then Felix doesn't come in until the 86th minute either, when Pedri and Gundo. Pedri was gassed, and okay, you've been subbing him out, so bring on Fermin Lopez. I know you want to get Joao Felix stretched and you want to get him some minutes, but he didn't play well. I don't know what to say. He just did not play well today, and of course he didn't play well. It's his first game coming off from injury. It's hard to expect him to come on and be 100%. You can kind of expect that from Fermin Lopez. He hasn't been good as a substitute this year, sure, but you know he's going to come on and fight and like break some ankles, either, you know, in tackles or with his dribbling. One of those two things is going to happen, and you need both of them, honestly. So bring him on. We need that running. Joao Felix is not a runner. He isn't going to do that. He's not going to help break out of that press, or he's not going to break through that Napoli press as well as I think Fermin Lopez will. And I think Xavi needed to be quicker with those subs. I always think he needs to be quicker with his subs, honestly, but I don't know, man. Xavi came out so well in the first half, and it's so unbelievably upsetting that we walk out of that match with a draw. I think we were the profound best team for so long, and then they got that draw. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Look, I'm not going to call that a foul. I see some people in chat calling that a foul. I didn't see enough of it to honestly call it a foul, but I don't know. I think you need to have a hand in the face or something bad to really get that call. I think that was a fumble by Inigo Martinez. I don't know. I think Ronald Araujo and Koundé had a pretty solid games. Koundé got tired at the end there. You could see it in his legs. He was definitely giving away some passes that he should not have. But he had a really good first 65, 70 minutes of that match. Araujo was fantastic as well. Not great on the ball. That's not why we have Araujo in there, but he handled Osimhen really well. Really well. And then we kind of just lost energy. They had all of those substitutes. It was like an entire new team basically came in. And of course, they were pressing us out of our minds and we couldn't move because people weren't running. They didn't have the legs to run into the space that we needed them to run into. Like, I feel like I need to be told, like, am I wrong? Am I wrong to think Xavi needed to make those subs earlier? Why doesn't he? We have no flow. They're not playing well together. Frankie de Jong clearly has legs. Even Robert Lewandowski, he had legs at the end of the match. Okay, leave him in. Araujo, you can leave him in. Cancelo too. If you want his ball playing ability and you don't have a confident left back, okay, I'm fine with that, right? But you have Fermin Lopez on the bench. You have Victor Roque on the bench. Even Kubarsi for Inigo Martinez. He could cover some space. After that goal, do you think Inigo Martinez deserved to be in there? I mean, throwing Kubarsi in, maybe not the best idea, but they also took out Osimhen, and Giovanni Simeone is a different profile. I don't know. Somebody said in chat, Simon said that it's not a foul. Okay, I believe that. But Frankie de Jong was so good today. Robert Lewandowski was terrible for so much of it, but he scored. That's what he's supposed to do, and he did it. So I'm happy. He shouldn't be linking up play as much as he is, but whatever. He's just, every time he gets on the ball, I feel like he makes the wrong decision. I don't know. I'm probably nitpicking, but it might be a little bit of confirmation bias. I don't know. Lamine Yamal didn't have a great game. He got two important areas really well. He was able to find himself, move himself up the field, but once he got there into those positions that really mattered, he just couldn't do it. But Barca did a great job of neutralizing Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen for so long, man. For basically the entire match, except for a fumble by Inigo Martinez the second before Osimhen comes off the pitch. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I don't agree with some people in chat flaming Xavi right now for not knowing how to coach, because it's Xavi's. They came out so well because of how good Xavi was, and I think an older Lamine Yamal on the right wing, we are up by one goal or maybe 2 goals going into this second half, and so that changes this match a little bit. I think a better link-up play, better decision-making from Robert Lewandowski, and we keep the ball more, and we maybe create another big chance and we score it. A little bit more clinicality from Gundo at the end, right in the last minute there, and we win this game. So I don't put this whole match on Xavi, but I do think we need to ask some questions of Rafinha. You guys in chat calling him out a little bit. I think that's reasonable. Like, look, he's barely played because of how good Yamal has been, but man, he looked useless today. I don't know. He just wasn't there. He was not there. He wasn't even a player in this match, and realistically, he only had 15 minutes to play, but I don't know. I don't think I saw him make an impactful decision once. And, he overran that Cancelo pass. Whether that was overran or under hit, you could argue that. But, I don't know. It's heartbreaking. It truly is. And I know it is, because Napoli is going to celebrate this like crazy. And that's what pisses me off, because we're going to act like this is the end of the world. We're going to see people on Twitter, like everybody in my chat, saying Xavi out or whatever. Xavi doesn't know how to coach. You're wrong. Xavi does know how to coach, or we wouldn't have been set up in the way to do so successfully here. Right? The setup was good. The system was good. The system that Xavi has been trying to play worked today. It worked really well. We haven't seen them press this well and defend as well as they did for so long in a very long time. They defended really well for the first time in games. And it just comes down to one mistake from Inigo Martinez and, a couple missed chances or bad decisions up front. But oh God, I know this is so poisoning and so terrible because everyone is going to be so negative on Twitter. I don't even want to open up that app. I hate it so much. Everyone's going to be so negative and so end of the world. This is ridiculous. And oh, it's just going to make me so unhappy to log into that and see everyone flaming everything. I don't know. It was a good performance. We played well. We were up to this challenge for so much of this match. You know, we can't blame a 16-year-old. You know, we can't hate on him for making the wrong decision. It's going to happen. We can be critical of him, sure, but we can't call him terrible. We can't call him washed. He's also tired. He's played 7 or 8 straight matches. The entirety of all of them, too. He never gets subbed off. It's ridiculous. But the decision-making was bad, and that's not up to Xavi. Xavi isn't on the pitch with them. He's not there to make that decision for them. He can't. But these players, man, they are almost so good. This team is almost so good still. They came out of this game. Like, look, Napoli's not good, okay? They are in 9th place in La Liga. They have been in Serie A, and they've been scraping by in every single match they play in. But Barca came out so well, so confident, and we're playing great football for the first time in games, man. In games. It's been so long since this happened. Like, maybe since 2023, I would say. They played so well, and it's just a little bit of luck and disaster and whatever. And at least we didn't lose like Arsenal, right? People like Neil on Twitter were saying that Arsenal were top 4 favorites, and I think that was a little ridiculous. I thought it was ridiculous last night, but whatever. And they're out here losing to Porto. We lost to Porto too, but not in a match that was really important. Did we lose to Porto? I don't know. I don't think we did. I don't know. I blocked out. I can't remember anything right now. Guys, I'm going to end that there. I can't breathe anymore, but, you know, thank you for tuning in to the second channel. I'm going to try to upload more on here over the next, little while. I'm still trying to balance out what kind of videos I want to make on the main channel. I went through a little weird identity crisis, but if you guys want to check out some of the posters or merch that I make, go to roludesigns.com or subscribe to this channel and subscribe to the main channel. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers this year. We'll see if it happens, but thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.